Screaming in pain and surprise, Sarah felt herself flying through the air. Her back slammed against the wall as her head followed in suit, ricocheting forward. A loud thud sounded as the young child slumped to the ground. Dazed, but still present, Sarah looked up with a wobbly head, watching as the monster continued its pursuit of his prey. Hello, welcome to In My Words. The book I am reading from is titled The Monster We Call Dad by D.A. Riles. This book is not intended for young readers. After each reading session, I will briefly give information about a chosen plant. I hope through my words you will gain insight, knowledge, and a deeper appreciation and understanding of this mysterious and intricate world. Though the road may be long and hard, compassion and beauty can be gained through the enjoyment of nature and experiencing its wondrous gifts. Thank you for joining me. Chapter 17. Photographs. One day during her 5th year of life, Sarah went into Mom and Dad's bedroom. This was forbidden, but she was just a child and didn't understand why she couldn't be in her parents' room. While Sarah was in the room, she had found some photos. They were so pretty. Mom was smiling in these pictures. She liked the way her face was soft and soothing. She could see laughter in her eyes. Will Mom ever smile for me? Sarah wondered. She does for other people, even kids. Pouting to herself, the young girl tried to remember when Mom had a smile just for her. Why aren't these pictures in the photo album? She thought aloud. She's so pretty when she doesn't have a mad face. Not paying attention to what was taking place around her, Sarah continued to look at Mom's pretty face. Hearing the quietness of the house as he entered made Thomas wonder where his children could be. Nearing the bedroom to change out of his work clothes, he saw Sarah in his bedroom. Stalking silently towards the unsuspecting victim, Dad was now able to tell that his younger daughter was engrossed in something. He didn't quite know what it was, but would soon find out. The monster began to come to the surface. Muscles twitching in his smooth face, teeth clenching, hands falling into fists. No longer was Dad present, for the monster won again. Thomas followed his daughter's gaze. He knew he had some nude pictures of Jane, and now this little brat had the gall to be looking at them. Those pictures were only for his eyes, no one else's. The monster that lay dormant only moments ago prepared itself for a strike. Sprawling tentacles seemed to grow from Dad's body. No longer under control, the monster was there and in full command. It snaked out its long, slithery appendage as it yanked Sarah by her little arm with one quick, swift motion, throwing her out of the bedroom and into the wall of the hallway. Screaming in pain and surprise, Sarah felt herself flying through the air. Her back slammed against the wall as her head followed in suit, ricocheting forward. A loud thud sounded as the young child slumped to the ground. Dazed, but still present, Sarah looked up with a wobbly head, watching as the monster continued its pursuit of his prey. Nostrils flaring, breathing in the fear which emanated from this small being which lay before him, the monster continued its assault upon the hapless child. Looking down at her, he saw the child's body trembling. Raising its voice, the monster bellowed, "If you don't effing quit crying, I'll give you something to cry about." Sarah stayed very still, pressing her body close to the wall, hoping it would swallow her up and take her to a safer place. Seeing the monster move toward her, the young girl flinched. Stomping down a large foot next to the child, its eyes lit up as a shriek of fear flowed through her mouth. Laughing with superiority, he took in the cowering sight before him. Reaching out toward the innocent being on the ground, stealthily it picked her up, once again by her arm. Ferocity and delight consumed the monster as it overtook Dad's body. Effortlessly, it dragged the girl through the hall and hoisted her up onto the couch. Swallowing the pain and fear of what was yet to come, Sarah's mind tried to understand what she did wrong. Not knowing what upset him, the young child knew it must have something to do with the pictures. But what? She questioned in her mind. She didn't understand the embarrassment Dad felt for having his young daughter find the nude photographs of his wife. She was much too young to know that that type of thing just shouldn't be done in polite society. But to the monster, it really didn't matter what his children or wife did, just as long as it received relief from whichever emotion it was feeling at the time. The monster just didn't care about consequences. All it seemed capable of doing was to react. All thoughts disappeared as Sarah's battered body met the couch. With her back upon the cushioned surface, she looked up with wide, horror-filled eyes as she saw the large frame of the monster hurtling toward her chest. Instinctively, she began to turn her body out of the way, but it wasn't quick enough. Without warning, she heard a popping sound. Sparks of light flashed before her eyes, and things began to distort. The weight of the monster lifted swiftly off of the small child as it too heard the pop. Wanting to continue its wrath, he caught sight of his victim's eyes. They seemed to be far away. Shocking his system back to reality, Dad moved away from the child, which lay deathly still upon the couch. Not knowing what to do or how to respond, he simply walked away. I am sorry that there is no music here. YouTube kept rejecting it. Today's highlighted plant is rhubarb. Rhubarb can be considered either a fruit or a vegetable. It is rather like the debate of tomatoes. Some people say tomatoes are a fruit, some people say tomatoes are a vegetable. Botanically, I would say look into those different plants yourself, and then you can decide for yourself. Once established, rhubarb is easy to grow. It prefers cooler weather and semi-shade, especially in hot areas. Rhubarb stems look like celery, but can also have a red coloring to them depending upon the variety that is planted. The shape of the stalk is similar to celery, but it is much larger and thicker. The stalks are generally picked in May or June. It has been said that picking the stalks later in the season causes the oxalates to increase, so to be on the safe side, I tend to pick my rhubarb no later than the end of June, sometimes earlier if the season is hot. Rhubarb does bolt in hot weather, meaning it will send out tall flower spikes and set seed. You can remove these flower stems if you wish. If the seeds fall back into the garden or the area that they are grown, they will many times produce another plant. The rhubarb plant also sends out new stalks year after year, and it continues to produce new growth for 10 years or more. Please, if you don't know anything about rhubarb, know this: do not eat the leaves. I am aware that in certain books it says that people have eaten the rhubarb leaves without any side effects. However, for myself and for all you listeners, it is better to be safe than sorry, so please do your research. They contain large amounts of oxalates of potassium and calcium oxalate. This can cause a poisoning in the body, so eat only the stalks. This is very important. Also, if you are uncertain, look up this long-lived plant and see how to use it properly. Rhubarb can be eaten raw. I find the taste to be too tart for me when I eat it raw. Rhubarb can also be cooked, boiled, baked, or any other way that you like to make your food. I and my family really enjoy rhubarb crisp. Rhubarb can be frozen or dehydrated for longer use. It can also be made into jams and jellies. I tend to freeze my rhubarb, for I usually have a glut, and then during the winter I make rhubarb crisp. I have also made jellies and jams, which taste amazing on toast or home-baked bread. Today's highlighted plant was the rhubarb. Please like, share, and subscribe. I look forward to having you join me again next time, where I will highlight another plant, and I will continue to read from the book titled The Monster We Call Dad by D.A. Riles, which you can purchase from Amazon.com. Thank you for having joined me.